Hi, I'm Jory Crolder, and I read Q3, or the open question, for the AP Literature exam last year. And over the course of 7 days, reading almost 1,500 essays, I learned a couple things that I'd like to share with you. The first thing is get to the point. In your introduction, try not to spend too much time talking about how great the author is or the history behind the novel. Dive straight into your main point. You should have a thesis that answers the prompt and also has a universal theme. And you only have 40 minutes to write this essay, so what the readers are looking for after reading so many essays is, what is your essay really going to be about? And this brings me to my second point. You need to have a point. In your thesis, you should have a universal theme, a big idea that applies to the world outside the novel. And this is really crucial because without it, all your essay ends up being is a plot summary of the novel that you picked. And last year, students picked so many great novels. The topic was deception. And one example would be Othello. But in too many circumstances, they spent time listing all of the incidents of deception in Othello, but they never got to the so what. They never talked about why these deceptions were important. What do they say about humans and what we tend to do, life, the human condition? They never got to the big idea. It's a lot easier to write an essay supporting an idea if you actually have an idea to support. And this leads me to my third point, which is you need to organize your ideas. You may start your essay with a really great point, but it's easy in such a short time writing an essay to panic and just start spilling out every single thing you can think of that ties into the prompt in the novel. And if you spend 5 to 7 minutes sketching out a basic plan for your essay, I guarantee you it will save you time later. I don't know if you've ever been in the experience where you're writing an essay and you get about halfway through and you forget what you were even talking about in the first place. It's really nice to have a road map to go back to. You may go in different directions eventually. You may end up adding stuff, taking stuff away, but try to have a plan when you start. And the fourth thing that I would say really help the essays is to write a lot. Long essays don't always equal high scores, but in most cases, short essays almost always equaled low scores. I rarely saw an upper level essay that was under 3 pages. And this is because in order to show a complex understanding of the novel, you really need to take the time to give evidence and insight and to explain your evidence, and that takes space, that takes some pages. So you might want to try using one of the techniques that I talk to my students about, which is called the quote sandwich. When you're writing a body paragraph, start with an idea that supports your thesis, give some evidence, and explain how that evidence ties back to the thesis. Give a little bit more evidence and explain how it ties back to the thesis. This year I've been spending a lot of time just encouraging my students to write more, be explicit about the point you're trying to make, and the readers will be grateful. The last thing, a miscellaneous bit of information, but really important, is Penmanship Matters. The readers are reading for about 8 hours a day for 7 days straight, and while they will work their hardest to give you credit for what you do well, you really don't want to make it hard for them to see what you've written down. So use your best penmanship, take the time to make sure that it's understandable, and you're going to do great. I wish everybody out there great luck. You have the tools you need going into the test, so just remind yourself of them and go out there and do really well.